Yeah. Another episode of Soul Cycle Alchemy. We in here.
Yep. This. Yep. The cosmic
Go
self.
ahead and go on in with the mantra.
Yep. Let's start the
Talk
mantra.
in the right frequency.
Yep. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness, of the almighty powers of the great nothingness, of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible light from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into physical realization, actualization, and form, as we all now will and commanded to be, is now being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness, an active force of infinite intelligence within us all. Now being and becoming the great primordial, Typhonian dragon, serpent, indigo, kundalini flame, now whirling and ascending up our spine from our root chakra to our central heart chakra, on up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our royal crown chakra, illuminating our first eye, the Lord Amen El Dragra, the hidden priestly grandmaster, magi, dragon, godson, king, and queen, igniting all of the 72 chakras in our first eye, and our 72 primordial dragon, godson, kings, and queens, and all of our legions of 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 armies 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 of armies, willing all of the forces, all of the powers, all the elements, all of the essences, all of the dark matter, and all of the dark energy within the absolute all, into being and becoming all of our will servants, serving all of our will subjectives, intentions, and desires, crystallizing them all into physical realization, actualization, and form, as we all now will and commanded to be, now being and becoming an active force of unstoppable energy, helping us all now by bringing all out war, judgment, death, and destruction to all of the corrupted, multidimensional, negative, archonic energies and their so-called wannabe white supremacist, European American, imperialistic, globally counterfeit spirits running the surface of the earth with all of their technology directed at us and against us and our well-being in order to kill, murder, corrupt, and degenerate us all, taking us off of our true evolutionary path and cycle to forever enslave us deeper and deeper into their artificial reality construct in the name of their God and master, the demiurge, as we are now all able of pulling down unlimited supernal energy from right out of the nothingness into our reality, manifesting it here as an all-consuming flame that no force can stand up to, burning away all of the multidimensional archonic demiurge energies by raising a vibratory rate so high, making all of the archonic demiurge energies too sick to even fight us, as our energy is completely consuming away all of the archonic demiurge energies directed against us, clearing the way to our true evolutionary path, using our first eye, the hidden grandmaster magi, to open up a supermassive black hole, now sucking in all of the archonic demiurge energies back into the primordial nothingness to be regenerated into something else more universally constructive, as we are now all free to ascend back up to conscious unity through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized, as we are now willing commanded to be, now being and becoming projected unto the entire omniverse, earth and physical and spiritual matrix and heavenlies, from beyond the entire omniverse, earth and physical and spiritual matrix and heavenlies, now completely taken over and consciously judging and destroying the entire omniverse, earth and physical and spiritual matrix and heavenlies, being and becoming the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized, as we are now willing commanded to be as one. Abracadabra. Okay. All right. Yeah. I found this interesting article on the Blue and Red Kachina.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to read this. I want to read this bad.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Let me find that. Okay. The story of the Blue Kachina and the Red Kachina. The story of the Blue Kachina and the Red Kachina, as passed on to Robert Ghost Wolf by Chief Dan Eve Hama, Hopi traditional caretaker. The story of the Blue Kachina is a very old story, very old. I have been aware of the story of the Blue Kachina since I was very young. I was told this story. I was told the story by grandfathers who are now between 80 and 108 years old. Frank Waters also wrote about Sakusoa, Sakusohu, the Blue Star Kachina, in the Book of the Hopi. The story came from Grandfather Dan, oldest Hopi. It was told to me that first the Blue Kachina would start to be seen as the dances and would make his appearance known to the children in the plaza during the night dance. This event would tell us that end times are very near. Then the Blue Star Kachina would physically appear in our heavens, which would mean that we were in the end times. In the final days, we will look up in our heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers who helped create this world in the birthing time. Pagan Hoya and his guardian of the North Pole and his brother Palongawoya is the guardian of the South Pole. In the final days, the Blue Star Kachina will come to be with his nephew, and they will return the Earth to its natural rotation, which is counterclockwise.
Wow.
The fact is evidence in many petroglyphs that speaks of the zodiac and within the Mayan and Egyptian pyramids. The rotation of the Earth has been manipulated by not so benevolent star beings. The twins will be seen in our northwestern skies. They will come and visit to see who still remembered the original teachings, flying in their patovoltas, are flying shields. They will bring many of their star family with them in the final days. The return of the Blue Star Kachina, who is also known as Nan Ga Sohu, will be the alarm clock that tells us that the new day and the new way of life, a new world that is coming. There is where the change, there is where the changes, this is where the changes will begin. They will start as fires that burn within us, and we will burn up with desires and conflicts if we do not remember the original teachings and return to the peaceful way of life. Not far behind the twins will come a purifier, the Red Star Kachina, who will bring the day of purification. On this day, the earth, her creatures, and all life as we know it will change forever. There will be messengers that will precede this coming of the purifier. They will leave messages to those on earth who remember the old ways. The messages will be found written in the living stone through the sacred grain and even the waters. Crop circles have been found in ice. From the purifiers will issue forth a great red light. All things will change in their manner of being. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change from the large to the smallest thing. Those who return to the ways given to us in the original teachings and live a natural way of life will not be touched by the coming of the purifier. They will survive and build the new world. Only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand the message be found. It is important to understand that these messages will be found upon every living thing, even within our bodies, even within a drop of our blood. All life forms will receive the messages from the twins, those that fly, the plants, even the rabbits. The appearance of the twins began a period of 7 years, which will be our final opportunity to change our ways. Everything we experience is all a matter of choice. Many will appear to have lost their souls in these final days. So intense will the nature of the change be that those who are weak in spiritual awareness will go insane. For we are nothing without spirit. They will disappear, for they are just hollow vessels for everything to use. Life will be so bad in the cities that many will choose to leave this plane, some in whole groups. Only those who return to the values of the old ways will be able to find peace of mind. For in the earth we shall find relief from the madness that will be all around us. It will be very hard. It would be a very hard time for women with children, for they will be shunned, and many of the children in these times will be unnatural. Some beings from the stars, some from past worlds, some will even be created by man in an unnatural manner and will be soulless. Many of the people in this time will be empty in spirit. They will have sampaku, no life force in their eyes. As we get closer to the time of the arrival of the purifier, there will be those who walk as ghosts through the cities, through canyons. They will have constructed in their man made mountains. Those that walk through these places will be very heavy in their walk. It will appear almost painful as they take each step, for they will be disconnected from their spirit and the earth. After the arrival of the twins, they will begin to vanish before your eyes like so much smoke. Others will have great deformities, both in the mind and upon their bodies. There will be those who would walk in the body that are not from this reality. For many of the gateways that once protected us will be open. There will be much confusion between sexes, the children and their elders. Life will Life will get very perverted, and there will be little social order in these times. Many will ask for the mountains themselves to fall upon them just to end their misery. Still others will appear as if untouched by what is occurring. The ones who remembered the original teachings and have reconnected their hearts and spirit. Those who remember who their mother and father is. The Pahana, who have left to live in the mountains and forests. When the purifier comes, we will see him first as a small red star, which will come very close and sit in our heavens watching us to see how well we have remembered the sacred teachings. This purifier will show us many miraculous signs in our heavens. In this way, we will know Creator is not a dream. Even those who do not feel this connection to spirit will see the face of Creator across the sky. Things unseen will be felt very strongly. Many things will begin to occur that will not make sense, for reality will be shifting back in and out of a dream state. There will be many doorways to the lower worlds that will open at this time. Things long forgotten will come back to remind us of our past creations. All living things will want to be present for this day when time ends and we enter the forever cycle of the fifth world. We will receive many warnings allowing us to change our ways from below the earth as well as above. Then one morning in a moment, we will awaken to a red dawn. The sky will be the color of blood. Many things will be, many things will then begin to happen that right now we are not sure of their exact nature, for much of reality will not be as it is now. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, some from the past and some that we have never seen. The nature of mankind will appear strange in these times when we walk between worlds, and we will house many spirits, even within our bodies. After a time, we will again walk with our brothers from the stars and rebuild this earth, but not until the purifier has left his mark upon the universe. No living thing will go untouched here or in the heavens. The way through this time, it is said, is to be found in our hearts and reuniting with our spiritual self, getting simple and returning to living with the earth, with and upon the earth, and in harmony with her creatures, remembering that we are the caretakers, the fire keepers of the spirit. Our relatives from the stars are coming home to see how well we have fared on our journey.
Wow. That's deep.
That's
exactly what's going on right now.
yeah.
That's exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We have to disorientate ourselves from human. Everything we've been trained is coming apart now, and it's obvious. Everything we've been trained to believe is real is coming apart now. That's
the reality is going to come apart.
It's already coming apart.
Yeah, and the doorways are going to be opening up, and all kind of shit's going to be stepping in over here. People are going to be getting possessed, and
it's already happening. It's happening now, bro.
It's happening now.
It's already happening. This is why you're getting a lot more. It's a epidemic of mental illness going on right now.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they get walk-ins and all kind of shit. Yeah, or people just the vibratory rate is going up so high, and they're left back and way back when.
Right.
And they missed the boat.
Right.
Yeah, the boat left without them, and now they lost, man.
I mean, they can once things are revealed for what they actually are, people are going to snap out of it. A lot of people going to go crazy, but a lot of people going to snap out of it. And the people who we're referring to as crazy, they just trying to process it. So once they process it, come back to faculties that allow them, because we're going beyond human consciousness anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to make it make sense. Don't make sense. Not going to make sense, right?
No, not through your human consciousness, not through your average mundane thinking. No, you got to step out of that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a consciousness. It's like when it's an intuitive consciousness that's coming, like an intuitive or more what you call instinctive. You know what I'm saying? When you get a hint of something, that's the real.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you feeling like that deep gut feeling, pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning that from trading, man.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the consciousness that we're going to have to build up and harness for this new reality that we're going into. Your physical perceptions, your senses are obsolete at this point.
Yeah, we're probably going to be shedding this physical body soon, or it's going to mutate into something else. The human experience is going to a whole nother level.
And why is that happening? That's happening because we're growing in our understanding of it. So that's the determining factor is our level of consciousness.
It's just part of
it's not that people act like something is happening. is really the only thing that's happening is within inside of us.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the only thing that's happening. And that alone is going to change your perception of reality. It's going to change your intuitiveness. It's going to change everything. It's like I said, you're going into intuitiveness. Your hints. If you hint and you get a gut feeling about, pay attention to that more, because the material world is just that. It's materialism. It's a false finite version of reality. It's a finite, false, finite that you're creating with your mind, that you're creating with your emotional disposition. We're
Well,
creating.
we're at the stage. Okay, there's the first symbol was the triangle. Okay, and it represents spirit, matter, and energy. Okay, the first emanation was energy. Well, no, spirit, energy, matter. The next emanation, spirit, matter, and energy. Then it became energy, spirit, matter, energy, matter, spirit, matter, spirit, energy. And now this is where we're at. Matter, energy, and spirit. Okay, matter is predominant, energy is in the middle, and spirit is way off in the background.
But now spirit is becoming more prevalent now.
Yeah, we're gonna move back to the one I believe above us, matter, spirit, energy. We're gonna go back up to matter, spirit, energy. We're gonna move from matter, energy, spirit to matter, spirit, energy, and then eventually spirit, matter, energy, and energy, spirit, matter, and back to spirit, matter, energy to spirit, energy, matter. So we're down here in our lowest evolution, in the central part of our evolution, and the evolution has been descending up until this point. But right here we're in cosmic, the illusion of separation. But we're coming out of the illusion of separation now. I believe we're getting ready to go back. Yeah, everything is looking up from here. And we're feeling the growing pains of that, and the resistance.
Right.
It's almost like when something is entering the atmosphere from outer space, and they're getting that friction and resistance, and it catches on fire.
Right. See, but this is because we are becoming more cognizant and aware of what's going on here, and that's in itself, right there in itself, is going to be a part of facilitating this total change of dynamics of energy, and it's deep, because let me read this article. It's because it seemed like they've been listening to our ciphers.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was speaking on the concept of the human mind being a quantum computer, the human brain being a quantum computer, and now I'm running to this article. It's not coincidence, okay? It says the brain may be a quantum computer that okay. The brain may be a quantum computer that hallucinates math, right? There is a code of algorithm hidden within the head. Question. What question? I mean, quick. What's 4 plus 5? 9, right? Slightly less. What's 5 plus 4? Still 9, right? Okay, let's wait a few minutes. Bear with me. Feel free to have a quick stretch. Now, without looking, what is the answer to the first question? It's still 9, isn't it? You've just performed a series of events. I mean, a series of advanced brain functions. You did math based on prior design to appear to appeal to entirely different parts of your brain, and you display the ability to recall uh, previous information when cued later. Great job. It may be still like old. It might be. It might seem like old hat to most of us, but it actually quite an amazing feat for brain power. And based on some recent research by a pair of teams from the University of Bonn, Bonn, that's Bonn, and the University of Tübingen, that's Tubinggen, then simply process could indicate that there's a quantum computer. They're a quantum computer. Let's do the math. Your brain probably isn't wired for numbers. It's a great it's great at math, but numbers are a relatively new concept for humans. Numbers numbers show in human history approximately 6,000 years ago with the Mesopotamian, but our species have been around for about 300,000 years. Prehistoric history still has things to count. There doesn't randomly for forget how many children they had just because there isn't a bespoke bespoke language to numerate yet. Instead, they find other methods for expressing quantities or tracking objects, such as holding their fingers or other representative models. If you had to keep track of dozens of cave mates, for example, you may carry a pebble to represent each one. As people trickle in from a hard day of hunting, gathering, and whatnot, you could shift pebbles from one. You could shift one pebble from one container to another as an accounting method. It it must seem sub op, it must be suboptimal, but the human brain really doesn't care whether you use numbers, words, concepts when it's coming to math. Let's do the research. The aforementioned research team recently published a fascinating paper titled Neuronical, that's Neuronal codes for algorithm. Neuronical codes for algorithm rules processing in the human brain. As the intimate, as the title intimates, the researchers identify a abstract code for processing at addition and subtraction inside the human brain. This is significant because we really don't know how the brain handles math. you can't just you can't just slap some electrodes someone someone's cap and stick them in a CAT scan machine to suit out the nature of human calculations. Um, it says math happens at the individual neuron level. Inside the human brain. EKG reading the CAT scan can only provide a general picture of all the noise our neuronic process. Produce a neuron produce, and there are some 86 million neurons making noise inside of our brain. Those kinds of readings isn't what you call an exact science.
Don't
Okay,
neurons look like clusters of stars?
exactly. The boron and the Tubingen team got around his problem by conducting their research on volunteers who already had subcranial, that's CRANIAL, subcranial electro electro implanted for the treatment of apoptosis. Apoptosis. That's EP. Apoptosis. That's EPL. EPILEPSY. 9 volunteers met the study criteria, and because of the nature of their implant, they okay, because of the nature of their implant, they were able to provide with they were able to provide what may be what might be the world's first glimpse into how the brain actually handles math.
Okay.
Per the research paper, we found abstract and note notation independent codes for addition and subtraction in neuronal populations. Okay, code, coders coders apply to time result recording demonstrate a stratic a static code in hippocampus hippocampus based on precedingly ruled sective neurons, in contrast to a dynamic code in pre hippocampus cortex designing from neurons carrying rapidly changing rules information. So basically, they was calculating the brain processing the neuronal activity of the brain while it was doing math, right? So they
Okay.
were calculating it,
Mm-hmm.
and they said signal neuronic in human MTL encoding abstract mathematical rules differently. Okay, they're giving you a graph on how the differentiations of when they was doing it. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's differentiations right there. On when they
Mm.
was dynamic coding and the dynamic coding in the pheno the paro hippocampus cortex and stratic coding in hippocampus, right? So these are the difference, right? And if I'm not mistaken, this is the back and the front of the brain, the hippocampus,
Mm-hmm.
the if I'm not mistaken. But okay, or the top of the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, shit, I better brushing up on my biology, man.
Okay. Single neurons.
Neurobiology.
Okay, single neurons across multiple human brain sectors responding to different encoding rules for math. So they're responding differently, encoding based on the neuronic activities, how it's coding in the process of the neuronic activity
Mm-hmm.
is registering different on both sides on different parts of the brain. The parohippocampus cortex and the hippocampus, right? I'm gonna spell that. That's PARA HIPPCAMPAL cortex, and the other one is HIPPOCAMPUS, hippocampus and hippocampus, and it's called the parohippocampus. Okay,
Where did they get these names from?
man, this is their jargon in their scientific societies. That's all
Yeah,
it is. Their
and they're
jargon within their
priesthood.
scientific society.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically the researchers saw the different parts of the brain light up when we do addition, and then when we do subtraction. They
Mm-hmm.
also discovered that different parts of the brain approaches these tasks with different timing. It is a bit complex, but it is a bit complex, but the gist of it is that one part of the brain tied ties to function. Tries to figure out the problem, and another works on a solution. One side of the brain try to one side of the brain trying to figure
Wait,
out the problem, and the other side is trying to solve it.
aren't they both the same thing?
They are, but they're processing the neuronic processes are differentiating themselves.
They're
And
different.
yeah, yeah, they differentiating themselves. That's what they're saying. The neuronic coding.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, how it's the schematics are moving, the neuronic schematics are moving because they're
Mm-hmm.
registering it. They're looking at it. They're registering. Okay, they're seeing that the neurons are reacting differently when acting differentiating the
But they
problem,
said one is trying to figure out the problem,
figure out the
the other
problem,
one is
and
trying to
it's
solve the
trying to
problem.
solve it. Yes.
Uh,
So it's a
okay.
complex system.
Oh, okay. Well, in other words, they're trying to identify the problem. Figure out the problem is no, that's not identifying that problem. They're past that.
Right, but it seems like one part of your brain is ahead of the one another part of your brain.
Okay, one, yeah. After we figure it out, now we're gonna
Right.
solve.
I don't know. We can read further. As the researchers put it, the neurons recording in human brains non-human primit primates premises. Non-human premises. That's what it says. Bro.
Non-human
That's
premises.
what
What
it
the hell do
says.
they mean by that? What do they mean by non-human premises? What
Okay, so
animal premises?
see, is we are orientated to a certain amount of references as humans. So so those become our premises for whatever we determine is real or not. Right.
Well, that's what we've been led to believe. I
Right.
taught them.
So
They taught us to teach ourselves that.
this is my guess. Non-human premises it's a premises, yes. Premise it is basically saying that it's picking up hints from something else, somewhere else beyond
Well,
human.
yeah, yeah, of course. That means it's picking up shit from the astral realm. That means it's picking up shit. Well, the emotional realm. It's picking up shit from the mental realm. It's picking up shit from the Buddhic realm. It's picking up shit from the Atman, realm,
Right. So
the
the
etheric
different
realm.
yeah. As well as computer computerization modeling computerization modeling testing different cognitive functions from these two codes from working memory. Although a dynamic code seems to suffice for short maintenance of more implicit information in memory, the ins the ins okay instincts, the instinct mind, the instinct mind, manipulation of it says the intense mind, manipulation of the intense mind, manipulation of the intend intended working memory context may require a strategic 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 code strategic code, right? I don't know what a strategic code is, but I'm gonna look that up in a minute.
Neither do I. Out of my
Okay.
league.
Following this logic, right? It said the pre-hippocampal cortex may represent a short-term memory of the grammatic rule. A short-term memory of the uh, um, uh, not grammatic but algorithm rule, right? So they're applying this concept of algorithm to neuronic process of the brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whereas downstream, downstream. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. Downstream. So we're looking at something. Oh my God, this shit is deep. Because what happens is the pre-thinking is just like when you're on Google, right? You want to bypass all of the first pages. You want to go back. You want to go back to the like the last page and shit, because the stream starts from the first page on back, right? So when you stream it back, then you picking up intuitive memory. You picking up what you call how can I say? How can I explain it?
Oh, you mean like going back into history?
No, going back in the process of the brain neuronic processing, right? Because the whole process basically allows you to access different parts of, because they're saying that it's differentiating based on how far you got into the process of that thinking process. How far? So they're saying, let me read this again. He said, following this logic, it says the pre-hippocampal cortex may represent a short-term memory of the algorithm rule. However, whereas downstream hippocampus may do the math and process numbers according to the algorithm rule at hand. So the instinctive, when you first looking at a problem, right? There's a process, pre-process, like it's a pre-process, and then there's a post-process, and then so the whole process you're entering into different aspect of intuitiveness and going into different levels of consciousness, right? That are
it's another way of saying we're multidimensional.
We're multidimensional. No, not just multidimensional.
Multi-cognitive.
Thinking is multidimensional. Our thinking is multidimensional.
Yeah, our thinking is we're multi-cognizant.
Yes, our processing of thoughts are multidimensional too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take an inventory. So far,
in other words, processing is moving like quantum computers moves to process information so fast until it has to be in sub-zero temperatures because the heat will burn up everything.
Right.
So
okay, let me read further. Let's take inventory. So far, we've learned that every math process requires both a hard-coded memory solution, a strategic rule, and a novel one, a dynamic rule. It says in each of these, it transcendent base. That's transcendent based on what kind of transcendent base is what kind of algorithmic were performing. Okay, keeping in mind that there are 86 billion neurons in the human brain, and that everything as simple algorithmic algorithmic appears to be hidden across all or most of them. It obvious it's obvious that something more complex than simple pebbles collecting going on, right? So they're saying the brain is literally calculating and computing on a quantum level, is what they're basically trying to say. Your brain
Okay, well,
on a
the
quantum
the brain, all the brain is just um, software for a certain field of consciousness.
You mean hardware? The mind will be
Hardware, yeah, hardware for to pick up fields of consciousness.
right, no
Yeah.
doubt. I mean, that's just one of the functions. That's just one of the functions. It has multiple functions that they are describing right now, right?
Yeah. Oh shit. Smart. Smart.
Calculation. They say mental calculation is a classic working memory task, and although working memory have traditionally been attributed to the prefrontal cortex, more recent data suggests that the ML, the M, the MTL may also be important in working memory tasks, and this is a part of the brain-wide network subserving working memory. Subserving working memory. So you got not only the frontal memory, you got a sub memory department. And it's crazy because it's broken down into a whole network of memory.
Well, shit, yeah, you need. Well, shit, if you're okay, for me, I've been here. I'll be here almost 57 years. That's a lot of fucking memory.
Yeah, so you got to compartmentalize that memory some type of way to organize it. The brain has to organize some way, so it basically pushes it into them sub portions of the brain. Like, y'all handle this.
And by pushing it in that's why it's so tough for me to remember shit, because it's way down there in those sub memories.
Right, it's there. It's still there.
It's there.
It's still there.
I just have to dig deep into those sub memories.
Right. Either our brains are working extra hard to do simple binary mathematics, or there's quantum computing systems doing what they do best, right? Hallucinating answers. I don't know what they mean by that. They say hallucinating answers. The art of math, thinking about a apple. No, not that one. Think about a green apple. How many calculations did it take for you to arrive at a specific apple? Distance, okay, density and relative size. Did you have to adjust the input variables in order to produce a apple that isn't red? I'm going to go out on a limb and say you didn't. You just thought about some apples and they happen inside of your head. They happen inside of your head. Okay. Hallucinated those apples. Right? Artificial intelligence systems designed to produce original context based on learned styles go through the exact same process. Right? So it's creating a construct in order to have a reference point to do its processing, and artificial intelligence. It has
Mm-hmm.
to not only have reference points, it has to have a level of anticipation.
Well, see, now here's what makes our quantum computer better than a man-made quantum computer is that our quantum computer can function on the emotional, the mental, the the buddhic, the admin, all these higher planes of consciousness, picking up, information from higher levels of existence,
Right.
and and find out and figure out a way to process that shit.
Right. You process it in these other aspects of this neuronic networking system. It's like it's deep. It's a deep neuronic processing system, and it's going beyond just physical processing physical matter, and it's going beyond just that. It's processing.
Oh yeah, it's going beyond this third density realm.
Higher other realms of existence is what I'm saying. That's what.
Yeah, it's a broadcasting and receiving station from other realms.
Yes, and it has to have this basically this connection with these different realms of existence in order for it to exist. Like we're simultaneously connected to damn near every realm in existence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they want to sever all of that. They want to sever
They can never sever it. They can fracture it. They can basically like they did right now. This is the basis of
dormant, make it dormant.
Yeah. They what they did, they break it down, into fractions, and now we got to put it back together and see the wholeness, the holistic view of it.
Oh, okay. They can't destroy it. You can just fragment.
They fragment it. Yeah,
fragment
it. Right. So then we gotta realize, okay, it's a bigger. What are the fragments? We're collecting the puzzle pieces and shit, and realizing that there's a big processing system that goes back. It goes that's so big and goes so far back in time that it's inconceivable. Okay,
that's why that shit I just read about the Kachina. It says we're supposed to go back, go back to the ancient knowledge.
Right. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be operating in. That's what the powers that be, the so-called powers that be, they use this knowledge and they keep us away from it systematically. They keep us away from it. They've deemed it in our heads and our programming as all evil, Satanism. They call it all. They categorize it all in that categorization. They demonize it to the point where you don't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, still, damn. In other words, we want to make sure you guys miss the boat.
Right.
I
mean, of course, especially melanated people, because melanin gives us somewhat of an advantage, right? In the sense of we have more connection. What melanin is like, it's a processing for light. You can process light in melanin. You know what I'm saying? You can break down the enzymes of light with melanin. You can break it down in its enzyme, and you can create light in melanin. So it's a processor for melanin is a processor for light. And what is light? Information.
Yeah.
All light is information. So melanin does nothing but processes the information that the light is carrying. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that changes our DNA, our cells, our whole.
It gives us an ability to access that point of reality when you're not necessarily in the physical, you're not necessarily in the mental, you're not necessarily in. You're kind of we have the ability to put ourselves in a position where we can actually see we can actually have an intuitive experience with reality, right? This is what it does. We have an intuitive experience. This is why we are more visual learners than we are, you know what I'm saying? We learn by doing it.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing with us. We have to have the right knowledge. We have to have our true knowledge given us, the holistic. We have to have the holistic knowledge. So that way that energy can go in all corners. I mean, just go, it can be boundless.
It's available. All the knowledge is available. Even the European have a portion of the knowledge. They have fragments of it. And
they have fragments.
What to know fragments are just clues to the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Which is one of our sole purpose. Existence, I mean, in the physical, when you fall into matter and into physical existence matter, density matter, when you fall into that, you basically, this is a test. This is a big ass test to see whether you figure it out and you start applying the things that are already available to access. This is the test. We have so many things that we have been provided.
It's already what's happening is the point in the middle, the immutable one, is perfect. However, what it's trying to do is have a perfect evolution, or create a perfect aspect of itself outside of itself. Through this evolution, it wants to perfect its evolution.
Right. I don't think perfection is necessarily the goal. I think imperfection is the goal. Imperfection is the goal. Because what happens is perfection will bring us back down to this again. Because what is else to do at that point?
When I say perfection, you see, it comes out of unity unconscious. So the perfection is going to be going back into unity conscious and as an individual.
No, I get you. For real. I'm not saying perfection is not part of the goal.
Right?
That's just part of it. But I think the main one of the other goals is to
realization.
Exactly.
Realization.
Yes, that's one of the main goals.
You're right. That is the main goal. And perfection is a part of
the main goals.
Yeah, but the perfection comes through the realization.
You're right.
Okay, so we have to put them together, right? Yeah, it's like a recipe.
Right, it's an alchemic process.
Right,
but it's not based in physical matter.
No, physical matter is we're only going to be in physical matter just for a second in our evolution.
That's a good point, because in comparison to how long we've been outside of the physical matter, you know what I'm saying, is nowhere near how long we've been in it's like so many soul cycles. You know what I'm saying? We've not been in physical existence. So
and then some souls go up higher into less physical and more spiritual in energy.
You talking about ascension?
Yeah.
Well, I have my thing. My thing with anything that's talking about like everything is in balance, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I think me personally, I think ascension is just that realization that I can ascend and descend at my will.
Well, our ancestors, before the ones before us that figured this out, they've ascended on or evolved on beyond this human experience.
Of course, no doubt.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
All right. So
there are
that's what I
beings
mean.
that have had transcended
So
beyond having to go through the cycles.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
there's
I agree.
yeah. So now that means when some of us here reach a certain level of consciousness where we don't have to come back here no more and repeat the same lessons, we have a place to go to.
Hmm. We need to figure out the name of that place. What is the name of that place? Well, once you name it, it really becomes
It's nameless.
yeah.
It's nameless. I mean, the name of that place, shit. I mean, it's
I shouldn't call it a place because that's a construct. I should say what state
an
what state of
idea.
what state is that? Like what state of existence? What state of
Nirvana.
nirvana?
Yeah. Nirvana is existing in all points in space and beyond and beyond.
According to Wikipedia, Nirvana was an American.
Oh my God! Shut up.
As for the occult meaning, or the theosophical meaning, what's the theosophical meaning of the word nirvana?
Nirvana is term is a term found in the text of all major Indian religions: Hindu, Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. Sikhism. That's Sikhism. It refers to the profound peace of mind that is required with moksha, 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 liberation from some samsara. That's Samsara. All release from a state of all all revealed. I mean, released from a state of suffering after suffering after representative spiritual practice or sadhana. Sahana. Okay, let's look up what my mukshu is. Mukshu is a Hindu Jainism released from a cycle. Yep, he was correct. Released from the cycle of rebirth, repelled by the law of karma.
Yeah.
It's called
Mm-hmm.
Mukasha.
Moksha.
Moksha.
Okay. There we
It
go.
says transcended state attained as a result of being released from the cycle of birth.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is, right? That we just figured it out. Moksha.
Yep.
Mosha. Moshia. Moshia.
Mm-hmm.
Moksha. S-A-H-A.
And then there are such things going beyond that.
Of course.
Okay, so now we're in a whole nother fucking realm within the all, and a whole nother playground outside of this playground.
Wow.
Like in the Bible, it says, "My Father's house are many mansions."
Right. Let me look up this other word. It says Samsura. Okay. Samsura is a Sanskrit Pala word that means world. It is also the concept of rebirth and cyclicality. It says matter existence, a functional belief of most Indian religions. Popularly, it is the cycle of death, of rebirth, and rebirth.
Let me ask you something.
Which is soul cycle alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Let me ask you something. What if you had a chance? Okay, you pass on, you ascend on, transcend on, and you have a choice ascending to nirvana and going to the most highest states and beyond, or come back now and help with the evolutionary process here, help bring the evolutionary cycle to a higher level. And when you come back, you get to be a master.
Wow. So that's a whole realm of existence. Moksha, that's a whole nother realm that's beyond. Like, put it like this: if you watch the Dragon Ball Z anime, right, and it was different realms of existence. When Goku died, he went to a whole nother realm that's like a frequency or an overtone above human existence or the human realm, right? And this is what we have to realize, is that all of these multiple realities, multiple dimensional existence that we exist in, they're connected to each other, but you have to ascend to even be aware of it. You have to within your own self, because this goes back to my metaphysical idea. All realms of existence exist within us. It exists right here. This is also adding to this the stream theory, the stream what they call it,
string theory,
right?
Yeah.
That all these are connected strings of reality, fabrics of reality. Because within a fabric, you got other smaller fabrics. Within that fabric, you got other smaller fabrics within that. You know what I'm saying? So when you break it, when you understand it from that perspective, now you're seeing it in a way from. I mean, you can explain it, and it's not necessarily mundane in your recognition of it.
Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, I like what happens when you gather all 7 of the Dragon Balls. Dragon appears.
You can make a wish.
You make a wish. Isn't that symbolic?
Yes, it's symbolic. My God. They talking about 7 chakras.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the dragon appears. That, I guess that's the Kundalini.
Yes.
And the black dot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to
I never really thought about it like that, but that's exactly on point about it. That's exactly the metaphysical symbolism of it. You're right.
Yep.
Definitely right. When they get the 7 Dragon Balls, the dragon comes and grant them one wish.
Yep.
Right. It's the same basics. It's the same basics of the genie in the lamp. The genie in the lamp is the same symbolism.
Aladdin.
Yep. The lamp being the pineal glands. You know what I'm saying? And then once you stimulate the pineal glands, you can access the third eye. I mean the first eye.
First eye. Yeah. And then the first eye you have the 72
accessing the primordial world.
Yeah, and then there you got the 72 chakras, and each one of those got the legions of 30 to 40 legions.
But I'm thinking that those are the seals. The
those are
the seals.
Yeah, the 72 are the seals.
Okay.
Yeah. And within each seal are legions of armies inside of us.
But you see why they have to control us.
Yeah.
Because we have so much. That power is too powerful for them not to say. We have to have some type of containment for that power. We can't let it just go because they could potentially destroy the whole fucking universe. They could potentially destroy the whole fucking universe, man.
This ain't
power.
Shit, Atlantis ain't got shit on me.
Look, now you see why they try to contain us and control us so well, man. It's crazy.
I used to say
they don't want to be able to access that, man.
Yeah, you remember that commercial? They said a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
And I said, fuck that shit. Mine is almost a goddamn terrible thing to use. that motherfucker's more terrible when it's being used, right?
Because it basically lock you in. It's like it's part of the prison. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the prison, really.
Well, the brain is the matrix.
Right.
Yeah, the upper brain. You got the upper brain and the lower brain.
But this is why I was saying, people, you got to tap into that cognizance. You know what I'm saying?
That lower brain
consciousness that beyond human consciousness. You know what I'm saying? It's not produced.
The third eye. You got to tap into the third eye. Your third eye is the only gateway to that.
Yeah. See, but then when you tap into that, now you're at a position where you can see things before they come. This is what they was talking about how the brain literally is broken down in that respect too.
Oh, but see, now at the same token, now you got to go past your ego, your emotions. You got to go past your personality self.
We already mentioned that because self-realization first. The only way to get to self-realization is self-mastery first. You have to master yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to master yourself, meaning you have to master your emotions. You have to master your mind,
your thoughts.
You have to master your everything about
your etheric body.
Your etherical body. You have to master yourself. Meaning you're gonna have to do a lot of meditational practice.
You got to master all 7 of these realms.
You got to do a lot of meditation. You got to do a lot of what they call inception work. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what happens is here come them trollers again. The trolls coming in again.
Oh yeah.
What happens is the levels of being able to control your brain, right? The levels of being able to control your brain, right, is one of your power that you have. The mind itself is not a power. The ability to control and being able to recognize that realm, right, in the sense of not allowing things that exist in that realm to take advantage of your own mind against you, turn your own self against you.
Oh yeah.
So that's where it happens at.
Uh-huh.
I was watching the
Yeah.
episode. I was watching the episode of Agents of Shield, right?
Yeah.
Where they opened up they fucked around and tore a hole in the time space. They tore a hole
Mm-hmm.
in time space, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a specific realm that they tore a hole in. It was the realm of fear.
Oh,
It was
something
literally
crossed over.
so the energy that was spilling out of that realm was actually making everybody manifest their fears into physical existence.
Fears. Ooh, that was that. Oh, that was a hole in the lower
Right.
emotional realm, in the lower sub
But
realm.
we are being exposed to that energy now. This is why the general public are basically operating from that perspective of fear.
From the lower sub realms,
Right.
in the lower chakras.
Right.
Yeah,
So
they were.
mastery of the mind, mastery of yourself, period, is key in transcending. It's key in getting
Yeah.
to higher aspects of realization of self.
Mm-hmm. Yo, yeah. Yeah. First, you gotta find true self, and then after true self realization.
We have to become geniuses, meaning, what's a genius? A genius is someone who possesses demons and don't allow
Mm-hmm.
themselves to be possessed by demons.
Yeah.
We all got demons. We all got demons. The
Yo, yeah.
key is to possess your demons, bring them under your divine order. Bring them under your divine order. Because what's going to happen?
Dominion. Bring them under my dominion.
You are not in control of yourself or mastery of yourself, your emotion, your lower self, your higher self, right? When I say lower self and higher self, we're talking about all the in betweens, the subplanes, you know what I'm saying? And on a higher level than heavenly planes is higher level than the heavenly planes. Okay, so we'll get that fucked up. So
That's a lot. Yeah. Oh shit. I don't. Man, that's that's a lot of secret work you got to do. Where you only have 24 hours in a day to do that shit in, along with everything else.
That whole
So you got to
24
sneak
hours,
it in.
that whole 24 hours, you're with yourself. So you can
Yeah.
be
So
you can be
you're
in the middle of doing some work and still be doing spiritual work at the same time. I do it all the time.
You remember that Brian.
I do it all the
how
time.
how the brain works, how I
Right.
figure out shit. just be doing shit simultaneously.
Right.
One part is over. It'd be like Dr. Manhattan and shit.
I do stuff like on a spiritual realm. I'll be doing all type of other shit on the spiritual realm. I'll be breaking my spirit up and saying, you do this on the spiritual realm, you do this on the spiritual realm, you do this on the spiritual realm.
Yeah, I guess we all kind of do that. I think.
Of course, we have to.
Yeah,
You know
we have to.
We have to in order to handle all of the business, right? And we can just refer to those as angels that work for us.
Yeah, we're over here. You can be like kind of like in the physical. I get to call the shots because I'm down here in the lowest level.
you call the shots regardless of what level you want.
Yeah, but down here, really,
what you're experiencing is nothing more than your all spark. You're experiencing yourself right now. Yeah. All of existence, because we are all reflections of each other. So, like I have when I first started coming into this, I had a concept called and it appeared to be so egotistical that I changed it up and shit. But my first concept is my mind is the universe you exist in, right? The basis of the concept, it appears to be egotistical, but it wasn't. It's based in the fact that, you know how Bobby Hemmings said, knowledge is a privilege? Everybody ain't privileged. Why?
Yeah.
Because everybody is not pursuing it.
And not only that, everybody don't wake up at the same time either.
No doubt. And that's what I'm saying. That was my basis of why I said my mind is the universe you live in, because you're not pursuing higher levels of self-realization and making it where now you're doing nothing but projecting. Everybody right now, if you're not taking control of being the programmer, you're being programmed, period. If
you're getting sucked into the metaverse.
The programmer, you're the program. Period.
Yeah.
You have to become the programmer.
The engineer.
The engineer, the one in charge. Take charge. See, in
pioneers.
Law, this is crazy because this concept applies in concepts of law and jurisprudence, right? Because the only way you can ever be free, people think you can file paperwork and you can free and you can do this. And the only way you can ever be free is if you take executive order over your life. Period. You have to become the executive of your estate. What is that executive? You are the only one in charge of executing your affairs. There is no side, no middleman. The government, because what's happening is the government is claiming to have interest in your affairs.
Oh, fuck.
That's what they're claiming. They're claiming to have an interest in your affairs. This is why they're putting you in a superior, an inferior status in law as being incompetent.
Yeah, they thumb up my ass and come with me here, the type of thing.
That's exactly what they do. The authoritarian system is based in that. It's based in y'all have to do what we're the adults. Y'all just listen. That's the authoritarian system. We're the adults. That's what they're saying.
No, you motherfuckers are down here with us too.
Right.
We're not down here with you. You're down here with us.
The whole basis of their motivation of trying to get us to take that jab, right?
Well, that shit worked in the Piscean age.
It's not based in science. It's based totally in their authoritarian trying to punk us.
Their own manifesto.
They're trying to punk us, man.
Yeah, they are.
They trying to punk us. That's all it is. That's all it is to it, man. Because
the only thing they doing is waking up a motherfucking dragon that's gonna come fucking eat their ass.
Listen, fucking around, man. Because I already know.
You just waking up a motherfucking vicious dragon.
Look. This is the thing. They ain't not gonna. Why they ain't gonna fuck with people like us, bro? Brothers, spirits, soul sparks like us, right? Because we know this physical illusion is the bullshit. We don't attack on the physical level. We're going to destroy you on our minds. On a spiritual level, you're done. You're dead.
You're done. With these quantum computers.
The
lower mind, the pineal mind, the first eye.
Right.
The one with the
that lower mind has access to every aspect of myself on every multi-dimensional plane of possibility there actually is, or potential there actually is.
Make me one with every entity.
You are one with it. Did you see the Spider-Man what's it called? The multiverse?
I've seen just all the trailers. It's everywhere. I haven't gone out and seen the movie yet. Can't go. You seen it?
Yeah, they tripping. They trying to.
Here they are. Yeah.
Yeah, the cartoon version, the cartoon version is when it's the one where he met up with all the different versions of himself.
Oh shit! Really?
You know that shit was dope, bro.
I can imagine.
And guess what? That's what's happening now. You're going to go in synchronicity with every different aspect and potentiality of yourself right now. That's what you want to be doing.
Well, shit. Yeah, well, that they say if we go around seven, we go through these 7 rounds 7 times. That's a lot of aspects of myself. That's a
Yes.
lot of evolution of myself.
Why?
Yeah, that's beyond Buddha. That's beyond Jesus. That's be. This is getting ready for. Oh, I can get into that.
Right. So,
Especially me being the captain, the final executor, the one in charge.
they got a new one talking about the multiverse on Doctor Strange. They got a new one from
Yeah.
Doctor Strange coming up.
Well, they're everywhere. They're going to be coming up everywhere.
So
Because you remember when I was reading about the Kachina, all the doors going to be opening up.
Man, fuck that, man. Let's be real. Let's be real about this shit. They've been listening to Bobby Hemmett. They've been listening to Phil Valentine. They've been listening to Deborah Blair. This is how they came up. I've looked at every Marvel, DC, and I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, nigga, they've been listening to Phil. They've been listening to Deborah Blair and Bobby Hemmett, bro. They've been listening to them, man. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I don't care.
Yeah, and they've been listening to them.
I see the shit.
Yeah, and they saying we hope they're not listening to them.
Right.
Yeah, because man, Phil, going back and listening to brother Phil right now after getting into this theosophy shit.
Oh my God.
I see where he got a lot of his information from.
You know what? I didn't listen to Phil a lot back in the day, even though I knew he was saying some real dope, but he was over my head like a motherfucker for a while. And now when I go back, like you said, go back to that, it's like, oh my God, he was on point about
right on time
at this point. What we're going into self-realization about right now.
Yeah, but he was way back then telling us.
Yes.
This shit now, and he's still here. The great thing about it, and he's still going.
What's so cold about it is, though, did you ever sit back and watch the Gathering of the Masters?
I believe so.
That came out in the 90s.
Yeah, I think I've seen some parts of that.
Right. That was the same one where Khalid went off on Bobby Hemmett.
Really?
You never seen that shit? That shit was tight. That shit was tight.
I missed that shit. Khalid went off on Bobby Hemmett.
Khalid went off on Bobby Hemmett, bro. They was going at it, and basically, Khalid was coming from his orthodox, fundamentalist Islamic point of view, and then Bobby started talking, and he started going in and shit. You know what I'm saying? And Khalid heard that shit. And he was like, "Don't tell the people." You gotta go watch it, bro. You gotta go watch it.
Yeah. So Bobby,
the Gathering of the Metaphysical Masters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And why it was interesting to me is because we're seeing you can really see the results of these different lines of thinking and schools of thinking, that where it leads you to spiritually, where it leads you to that, because we get too caught up in these dogmas. We get caught up in these dogmas, man, and it ain't about that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about that, because we're not bounded by those dogmas.
No, because knowledge is infinite, and all I know. Well, people like Bobby Hemmett, C. Freeman, they teach you that knowledge is infinite. Don't take their word for it. Read yourself. Go out there and do your own research.
But that's exactly why Bobby Hemmett was not respected he was respected as a scholar to a lot of people, but a lot of people didn't respect him as a scholar, even though he had degrees. And that wasn't the motivation or the basis of his lectures. He didn't come from that perspective of going to school. He told you that I went to school and got all those degrees and everything, and it didn't lead me to. I just start going into the mystery, and that started giving me enlightenment. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because he said after he completed school, he felt like he didn't really learn anything.
Right.
And they would come up there and give him speeches. It's just the same old, you can conceive it, you can believe it, you can achieve it speech.
Right. The same
Yeah.
old mundane bull crap that just basically keeps you away from studying the mystery and going deeper
Yeah.
in.
Yes.
Right? Because I've been in those communities, those circles where all these people can do is they don't go further than what they've gotten in their school training, their indoctrination.
Oh no! See, I stayed away from all of that. I've always ventured in this and that. When I was a commodities broker, I worked in Century City. So when I was at lunch, I spent my lunchtime in the bookstores.
Right.
Okay, I was shoplifting information.
Right. That part.
Yeah,
Part
I
right
leave the book there, but I just come back and get the information by reading it
Right.
for free.
Right.
Shit, I read a couple of books 2 times. All right.
That part right there.
Yeah. All right. So buy it. Shit. Fuck. I went in there, read everything. Shit. Man. I mean, like when I was a broker, when I was going through bad times, shit, I get all the fucking closer books on weekends and just sit down and read that shit and read it to tape. So yeah, I guess it's time to do the same thing here.
Well, I mean, to me, I feel like reality is kind of easy. I mean, this especially this lower vibrational reality.
Oh,
Man, come on now. This is. I mean, once you see through the veil, because that's what they meant by the veil is being lifted, right? Once you can see, my veil was lifted years ago, though. That's the problem. That's their problem, but my veil was lifted a long time ago. This is why I don't have too many people who are friends. I don't have friends because not only was my veil lifted years ago, I tell the people the truth. I drove a lot of people crazy by telling them the truth.
Yeah, when people just thought I was too crazy anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I was too out there for them. But then again, everybody liked me still too, though. But
that's one thing about me too is that people would avoid fucking with me, but they know that they can depend on me.
Yeah. They can come to you.
On me though.
Yeah, they can depend on
me.
you.
They will use me.
They'll use you.
Fuck with me though. They don't fuck with me.
They don't. Yeah, but they won't use what you really got to offer.
Right.
But they'll use what you can produce.
Right.
Because we good at both.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, like I said, I've mastered this shit, man. I'm like, and that's kind of gives us the luxury to be able to sit here and philosophically speak on these concepts. You know what I'm saying? And because I feel like it's a luxury, you know what I'm saying, for us to be able to do it because we have advanced in the class and shit.
Yeah. So, are you ready to do your other show, or do you still got some time?
All right, well, I'll do it at 10. 20 more minutes.
20 more minutes. Okay. You want to do the you get the email I sent you for
email or a text?
I mean, not email, the text. Oh my God, where the hell? I'm not that high. I'm high, but I'm not that high. The 7 dimensions in cosmos and self.
No, you didn't. I didn't come through.
You didn't get it?
Oh, I did.
sent it.
Okay, yeah, no, I got it. You talking about the Pablo one?
Yeah.
You want to pop that one or something
Yeah.
for the last 15 minutes or something?
Well, let's. There was one part.
You got a cue. You got it queued or something?
Q. Once he gets going on once he gets started, he just starts writing and shit. You say you just go with it. But there was when I was talking to you on the phone and I was trying to remember that word about the permanent atom. He does mention that in 39 minutes and 40 seconds, where you have this permanent atom that always comes down here with you and through each incarnation that you go through. Yeah. And it continues to learn. And there's a way that you can turn it on to get it to process information better. The more the better it processes, the better it gets. But this is
the deeper nature of intelligence itself and how deep intelligence is, especially on an organic level. Like,
that's why it's kind of hard to cue this because it just is nonstop. Not from the beginning till the end. It's nonstop. Yeah. Yeah. It's like shit. But I wrote it all. I was writing it down and everything.
Who are joining us on the internet. As Michelle said, this is the last talk in this series, and we are going to explore this model of theosophy of human beings and cosmos as a multi-dimensional entity. Both the cosmos and human beings are regarded as entities if we use that word in a general way.
Wow, and, I just looked up the definition of a mathematical entity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is literally an entity that exists in the mental realm.
Mm-hmm.
A mathematical entity. Damn.
In the mental. Okay, so that's from the mental world.
Mental is an entity that exists in the mental realm.
Yeah, that's from the lower mental world.
This shit is deep, brother.
Yeah.
As I said,
he's gonna break all that shit down.
So not just what we see with our senses. Let me recap what we have seen so far.
Ain't nothing in there but pale skins, too.
I know, man. Nothing but them.
Yeah, they be getting that knowledge, and they ain't nothing but pale skins. They ain't even got no soul.
No.
This shit don't apply. She don't got no soul. Come on now.
Oh.
She got an artificial soul right there.
Yeah, that's a counterfeit spirit.
Yeah, look at that shit, man. Come on now. But they be the ones in that shit like it applies.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have explored how the universe came about. We have seen that everything came from the unity. There is a single nature, a single reality or ground that produces everything in the universe, but not only produces it, it is everything in the universe. So ultimately speaking, everything is just a different manifestation of the oneness.
Ooh, I said that a long time ago.
For
a lot of stuff that I was thinking that a long time ago, and he just explained that. Give me confirmation, really, bro.
In the sense that it lasts for a time, and then everything goes back to the original unity. But while
which
the
is
universe
darkness.
is manifested, we have this primordial duality between what we can call spirit and matter, or consciousness and form. Now, when this oneness shows these two polarities, a third element appears because spirit and matter are related.
Energy. Energy.
Spirit.
Yeah, they just two different vibrational levels of energy. They're two different energies vibrating at different resonant frequencies.
But they create a third party energy.
Anytime you got a resonant frequency, you're going to have a corresponding frequency with it. It's gonna always. So, oh my God, it's just so multi-implicity in sense. You gotta sense things and realize things from a multi-dimensional perspective.
Okay.
And matter are related through consciousness. Spirit being the ultimate reality, matter being our body, and consciousness is the manifestation of that ultimate reality through the body. What comes out of that is what we call consciousness. Or we can call this triplicity as spirit, matter, and energy. All triplicities that you can think of come from this archetypal triplicity, which
1, 2, 3.
is the
Spirit,
model
matter,
for all
energy.
the trinities and triads of the different religions. In Christianity we have
First, second, third
Father,
dimension.
Son, and Holy Spirit, but also we have in Hinduism Vishnu, Brahma.
When you got a first, second, and
No,
third,
that would be ain't soft, or.
right. First, when you got a first, second, and third dimension, you automatically got a fourth dimension.
Okay.
Automatically. Because it's 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, well, this is below 0. This is in the negative. This hasn't gotten to the positive yet.
Right.
We're in negative existence. Because the triangle, he's going to draw the triangle will be going pointing down.
So, for example, Pythagoras used to talk about the one as the monad coming from monas, which means one. And then he would say that the first manifested figure is a triangle. So he said the duality is almost non-existent because as soon as you have two elements, the relationship between the two appears. So he would say from the one you go to the triplicity, which is the first geometrical figure that we have. We have the dot, the line, and the first figure is a triangle. So we have seen also that from this triplicity, we come to 7 elements. These 7 elements are actually plus 1, 6, as I'm going to show you. We explored this in the first talk. Let's suppose that this triplicity, let us draw this triangle downwards because we are talking about the process of manifestation. So it's coming.
Okay, so now we're going into positive existence.
Spirit, we have matter, and we have the cosmic energy. So if we combine these 3 elements, we have seen that the combination of the 3 elements gives like 7 basic foundations for the universe. So let's suppose we have a realm or a plane, a dimension, where spirit is predominant, then the aspect of energy follows,
and then matter.
Finally, there is some matter there. This becomes grosser, denser, and we have the spirit, for example, matter and energy. Then another combination is energy,
Energy,
spirit, and matter.
spirit, and matter.
Energy,
Energy, matter, and spirit.
matter, and spirit, or
And then
matter,
matter,
spirit,
spirit,
energy,
energy, matter,
matter, energy, spirit.
energy,
This would be
spirit.
where matter is predominant and energy is not so predominant, but they are having its role, and spirit seems to be like clouded by matter and energy. And this could be a good description, symbolical description of the physical plane. We can perceive matter. We have discovered the aspect of energy through science, and the spirit, the consciousness that is behind, is harder to realize on the physical plane.
So this is giving clarity or confirmation to my theory of the fact that because we are tuned in at a certain frequency of the physical reality, certain things are not going to be accessible to us, and other things will be accessible to us, like direct current, alternative current, and we haven't reached the level of maturity in our consciousness to realize that energy is all around us and we can harness it from the thin air. That's all based in our graduation. It's all based in our evolution.
But what about the spirit part? What about the spirit part, though?
The spirit part plays in the equation too, because how are we creating how the pre-creation or the intuitiveness or the clairvoyance that we have to be able to access that clairvoyance to recognize how this stuff comes down from the spirit realm onto energy matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when I say come down, and what I mean is vibration.
What about manifesting some of it?
It's all facilitated by the level of vibration. See, when you go into higher levels of vibration, right, you are entering into the higher realms.
Okay, but what about
levels of vibration? You're going into matter.
But what about pulling that shit down from down there to down here, so
That's
we can
the whole point. No, you're right.
and using
That's the
it
whole point.
as a creative force.
Right.
You turning it into a creative.
It is the only creative force there is. So, because let's put it like this: in order, everything right now that we see in the physical realm existed in the spiritual realm first.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's where we exist. That's where we came from first.
Right.
That's where everything came from. And that's where everything is going back to.
Right.
Yeah. So, but actually, we never left, because
you're right.
that's the backdrop of everything that there is.
Right. That was just a reference point when you say go back.
Yeah. So this is actually is sort of like it's all an illusion, but it's being played out anyway.
And it's only being played out because we're immature in our evolution right now, in our conscious evolution too. We're immature.
We are.
Conscious evolution will facilitate the changes that's coming about. Our inner struggle, what's going on within us, is literally facilitating the whole thing.
Well, that's because we've had some interference. Like you said, we were so powerful, someone had to make sure that we don't turn that shit on, because we can end up blowing up the whole universe or something.
Well, we've
had some
interference. It's that argon energy, that the
archonic energy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're afraid of us growing up. Well,
listen,
they were able to pick on us when we were.
We have been slaves to these archons for thousands of years now, bro.
Yeah.
We have been slaves to them.
Yes, we have.
The only way they have been able to maintain a slave system over us is continuing to keep us in religions, priesthoods. When everybody on this planet is an individual priest within themselves.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ways that they kept humanity right to this day. They keep humanity in this state of dependency spiritually. When even the scripture says, go into your higher spirit for interpretation of the. They got
everybody looking up when they should be looking within.
Exactly. It's like even the Bible says your discern should come from inside. It should come from a spiritual place. And that's what they're trying to tell you, to tap into that gut feeling, tap into that hint. When you're getting hints, tap into that cognizance. So that's the level, that's the spirit, that's the level of spiritual consciousness that gives you a pre-insight or insight prior to it becoming physical.
Well, it probably would have been good to say that before 2020 or 2021, because 2021, everybody got this thing put in them, and they got all these heavy metals inside of them. So it's kind of blocking that away now.
Well, that's what that's what I meant to fucking do to this. I guess I'll do the next show. I wanted to bring up the Supreme Court case that speaks on how they made it illegal to alter the genetics of humans, which they've done.
Oh, they did?
Yes, this is the Supreme Court's case that speaks to that.
Oh, good.
Right.
So based on that, they can go after them then.
So but what happened was, they could, but people are not they're not invoking that Supreme Court decision. They're not invoking it. And as a result of them not invoking it, there also clauses are they've also allowed the pharmaceutical companies to
a way out,
relinquish their legal liability, right?
They wiggle their way out of it
to an extent, because all ones would have to do is basically go to a higher, because you're dealing it from an inferior position. You got to go to higher courts and higher levels of understanding of competency of the law, right?
Okay.
So a lot that's what I'm saying. They're dealing with these inferior courts, right? And the Supreme Courts are the ones that are ushering the decisions for these inferior courts to. Okay. Right, they're giving the decision. So none of these inferior courts are going by their own decision. They're studying what the Supreme Court decisions is. So
they got to go by the Supreme Court.
What's happening. People are trying to sue on a local level, and they're supposed to take their case to the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay. Because these other courts are. These other courts on these lower courts are pretty much in bed with them.
Well, they are in violation in a sense, because they are what's called Article 3 courts, right? And they are nothing more than assistants. They're not even judges. They're called magistrates. They're assistants to the actual judge. Who is the actual judge? The Supreme Court judges are the actual judges. All the other inferior judges, they're called what's called magistrates, which is really assistants to the judge. They are assistants to the judge. They are assistants to the judge.
They're sub-judge. They're a sub-judge.
Right.
Sub-judge.
Right. They're a minion, basically. You're a minion. You're a
Okay.
man, period. Right?
Okay.
But a lot of them, they like to believe that they have a lot more power than they actually have, egotistically. Which
Yeah, I'm the law.
no, you're
Yeah.
not. You're a magistrate, assistant to the actual judge, which is at the Supreme Court.
Well, that's only if you bring it up. If you don't bring it up, they won't tell you.
I mean, if you don't bring it up, it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why. That's exactly why they would, when you get in the court, they don't want you to represent yourself, present yourself. I mean, they don't want you to come and prop your persona, right? Because that improper your persona, sir, jurors, that all you're saying is, I'm competent enough to take care of my affairs. I don't need to hire a lawyer. Do you know that this is the only way they can claim jurisdiction is if you allow one of their officers to speak for you?
Yeah, they have jurisdiction.
Yeah, they got jurisdiction if you allow one of their officers. But you have the option to present yourself, represent yourself, and proper your persona, which is proper person. Proper person means I'm not what you're perceiving. I'm not what you're presuming me as.
Yeah.
I'm not what you're.
I take responsibility
within your law, within your legal society. What you're construing me as in your legal society. I'm going to tell you who I am.
Okay.
Now, when they can tell you who they are, who you are, then you're in their jurisdiction because they just told you who you are.
Oh, okay. All right. You want to get back to Pablo?
Okay.
So we have here 6 elements, but all this comes from, there is one more possible combination, which is where spirit, matter, and energy are in a state of equilibrium. That is the homogeneous source of everything else. So that's why, although we talk about 7 planes, we
didn't I say it's all about Ma'at?
Okay. But this is all 3 of them existing simultaneously together, harmoniously together.
Equilibrium. Equilibrium means equally. They on the same plane of existence.
That's in the zero. That's at the top. That's at the top.
Right. That's Ma'at. That's why I said Ma'at is the facilitating force. Okay,
but see, we're down here. So we got to go through that to get to there.
But that's exactly. But the only way you can get there is through Ma'at.
Yep.
Through balance of yourself, not only of your perception and what you're realizing, but of yourself. Okay. And what do I refer to as balance? Balance is acceptance.
Well, stand in the middle, being a point in the middle.
Right. You are not being swayed. You
way over swayed. Here or way over there.
You're not being swayed anymore. You're the swayer.
You're not too far to the left, too far to the right.
Right. Is it like when you playing NBA Live? When you about to shoot a when you about to shoot a free throw. I mean, when you about to shoot a free
3-pointer.
Yeah. Huh?
3-pointer.
No. When you about to shoot a free point because you got violated, or you got fouled, or whatever. When you about to shoot the free throw line, right? When you about to do it, you have to make sure that ball is right in the middle when you push the thing.
Okay.
Right? You gotta make sure the ball, because the ball is going up and down and it's going over. You gotta make sure it go right in the middle, and then you push it, and then you make the shot.
You gotta time it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta time it just right. All right, you gonna.
I wouldn't call it timing. I will say equilibrium. You would have to equilibrium in that instance to make the shot.
Okay.
It's a level of aligning. It's a level of aligning things at that one particular point that makes everything come how it goes.
We are talking about really of a homogeneous plane, and then 6 more planes of differentiation. So this is more or less how theosophy describes the progression from the one to the multiplicity.
Right. We're gonna have to come back to
Within
this. I gotta
each
go.
one of these dimensions.
Okay. Yeah, he got a whole lot more to go.
All the
All right.
diversity.
We'll come back to this next week.
Okay, so we stopped it off in almost 2 hours.
All right, brother.
Okay, man.
We see y'all next show.
Yeah, next show. Howdy.